Everybody. Just to start off, my name is Tony Poole from Synergy Technology. I'm one of the SuperOffice gurus, if you would, within the organization. And the subject for today is dashboards in SuperOffice. Okay, what I want to do is give an overview of how to use dashboards and some of the impacts and implications of the standard dashboards that come with SuperOffice. If we start off, you'll all be aware that there is now a dashboard icon at the top of the screen. The dashboard icon isn't necessarily available to everybody in the business. You have the ability in security roles and rights to withdraw dashboards from the people that shouldn't be seeing them or shouldn't be playing with them. And you have the ability to restrict if people can edit them as well as view them. That, I think, is important, as there's some pretty crucial high-level business information is shown in these dashboards. For the first time that you go into the dashboard, you'll notice that you have a default one, which is home. You then have the ability to create multiple dashboards and to share these dashboards with team members or the whole business. And we'll see that in a moment as we drill into them. All of the dashboards here are pre-defined. Now that's really important. This is not a dashboard designer. It's not going to allow you to create your own bar charts, your own pie charts, your own graphical area charts. What it is going to do, though, is give you a very, very quick, simple approach to bringing some dashboards up in the business. So all of the dashboards are predefined, and in their predefinition, they are either restricted to you as a user logging in, a team, or the whole business. I'll demonstrate that in a moment. You can create new dashboards in the sense that you can change the criteria of what is contained within the dashboard. And you can share that by renaming it and sharing it with your company or your group to allow them or the users to put it onto their dashboards. What you can't do currently, and again, this is important, so I'll emphasize it, what you can't do is create a brand new dashboard, for instance, the sales dashboard, and automatically put this on everybody's screen. That is something we'll see coming in the future. What we can do with it, though, is define the containers within this screen and then allow people to add in what we've defined into a dashboard that they create called Sales Dashboard. This will become very obvious in a moment. Okay, so to start off with, I'm going to create a dashboard. I'm pressing the plus key at the top of the screen here, and it's opening up the Add Dashboard facility. I'm going to give this a name. I'm going to be really simple and call it Tony Daily Dashboard. Every user has to name their own dashboards to what they want to call them. Okay. I can now have a layout which is one pane, two panes split vertically, three planes vertically and horizontally, two panes horizontal, three panes horizontal and vertical, or four panes. If it's not displayed, there are no options for it. So as we get asked on support, you can't have 6 panes, you can't have 10 panes, you can only have what is displayed. This is designed to be simple and quick. So for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to go for a 2-pane display. Simply by pressing OK, that now brings the 2 panes up for me. There's no data defined at this point. No displays are defined at this point. I go to the top and I want to pick something. So I get my 5 options: activity, company, product, project, sale. Activity is all dashboards around activity of people and teams. Company are dashboards defined around categories, business types, so around the company data. product is around the product data. So if you're using the quotation tool within SuperOffice, that's where the product data is fed from. Project, all the project information. And then sale. The weakest of these dashboards will be project. The strongest of these dashboards will be sales. These dashboards are continually being added to. So this isn't a case of what you see is finally what you get. You are in a situation where this is new to version 8, and SuperOffice are continually investing in developing the dashboards. That, of course, comes after this year's development, which is predominantly around GDPR and data sharing. Okay, so I'm going to start off with my daily dashboard by picking an activity dashboard. I simply click on the word activity. That now opens up a list of potential dashboards that I can use. This list is a predefined list that has been put in the system for you. So I'm going to pick one here, which I think is quite interesting, my activity pace. Please be aware the data I am using is test data that's refreshed on a regular basis. So currently in my activity pace, I have one activity, which was a follow-up, and there's one of those in 2018. So that's not very many. But this, and the key thing to take from this now, is it's only looking at my activity pace. So what I want to do now is I want to define an activity pace for my company. This is really important. Now there are 3 icons here. So let me explain the 2 simple ones first. The arrow into the circle is refresh. Refresh my screen. The view here is to expand the view I'm looking at and zoom in. This is then exportable to Excel or printable. Great for management reports. The one that will cause us discussion now is this one at the end. Now I have the ability at this point to define a brand new dashboard. Remember, as I said earlier, we can't define pie charts and bar charts. The look and feel is already hard-coded, it's set. But I can define new criteria to be passed into that display. I can copy my activity pace into a new dashboard. I can edit the dashboard, the criteria, or I can delete it. You cannot delete a system one. You can only delete ones that you have created. Now, just to demonstrate something, but I'm not going to continue with this, I'm going to press edit. Straight away, I get a warning. This is a system tile. Changes will affect all users. We recommend you copy the tile and edit the copy. Do you still want to edit the system file? The answer is no. Please try your best, if I can give you any advice, not to edit the system ones. Always leave them as they are. Be aware of 2 things here. Number 1, when you have an upgrade, if you've edited a system one, the likelihood is it's going to reset to the new system ones. But more importantly, you will want to have different views of different teams or different criteria every time you need to do the edit. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to come to the list and I'm going to say copy. Because I'm Synergy, I'm going to type in here Synergy team activity pace. If we're good at managing our systems, which we should be, I'm going to say here, remember the notes you make now help people in the future. I can now edit my criteria. So the data source can either be the system, or I can actually define my own selection, which is really powerful, but we'll look at that in a moment. To start off with, I'm going to change this now to show follow-ups from me and say everyone in the business. And I'm going to look for this quarter, not this month. So what I should do here is change the title to make it as descriptive as possible for people. Synergy team activity pace for current quarter. I'm going to change my description, again, to keep in line with making sure we note everything. Quarter overview. And I'm going to save this. I'm not going to explain any of the other options yet. I'm now in a situation where I have Synergy team activity pace for quarter. Please remember, as I've said before, this is a test system. So there's not much activity here. But it's now going to show me my activity pace for everybody in the business for the last quarter. Now, I'm going to do a couple of things here, and I'm going to challenge my colleague Rachel. Rachel, could you stick a couple of activities in to your test system that have happened over the last 2 months, please, possibly in the diary, maybe with some follow-up and a phone call, just a couple, not many. And this will allow me to refresh that in a moment and show the impact. Okay, so let me add another dashboard in while Rachel does that, and that will help me just show where we're at. And again, I'm going to go for activity. And this time I'm going to add, please note, just as I come down, that dashboard now is there on the drop down. Because I made a copy of it, it is now available for anybody to select. We'll talk about security in a minute because I've only actually made that dashboard available to me for now. And I'm going to have a look here, and I'm going to ask for my completed activities. No, I'm going to ask for some documents by business type. Okay. Now, hopefully what you can all see is there's a little bit more information here from our test system. And here in our banking and finance sector, so that is a company category, the business type. If I highlight anything here, we see this expanded view. Now, this is telling me that we've sent 2 confirmations out. We've done 7 quotes with image. We've done 1 quote without image. No letters. No quotes with a group summary. 1 PDF document and 0 order confirmations into the banking and finance sector. If I then move across here and look at my generic industry, I've got confirmation, person added 1. Quote with images, 1 quote, and you can read the screen, so I won't keep going on about it. But what we can see, which is critical for me, is there are only 4 types of business that we're dealing with. There's the services business, the legal sector, the general industry, and banking and finance. Our main activity is happening in banking and finance. These are the kind of things that we want to grab quickly and easily from a dashboard. I'm now going to just nip up here, look at the activity pace for the business, and let's see if Rachel's managed to create any. Nope, no follow-ups created yet. Okay, so I have 2 dashboards on display there now under Tony Daily Dashboard. Now that I've created that dashboard, it will sit on my menu bar here for perpetuity, or until I right click and ask it to delete. Just so you can see there now, that's just changed. Thank you very much, Rachel. Very good of you. Rachel has created some activities. And what's great here is, look, month 7, 2018, we had 5 phone-ins, 3 email feeds from our marketing campaigns, and 1 follow-up. This month, that's declined dramatically. We've only had 2 phone-ins, no leads from our email campaigns, and no follow-ups. Now imagine if this was on your live system, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to get to see pace. Pace usually equals performance. And our team internally know that we have objectives to quote people, to update people, to do our client touches. We can see a trend that if everything reduces, so does performance. If everything increases, guess what? So does performance. So customers are starting to use this kind of information to get a 6-month, 12-month view of the whole company. And remember, when I edited and copied this, it allowed me to specify whether it was a certain team of people, just myself, or the whole business. So what could happen here is you could have a synergy team pace. You could also have a sales team pace, a support team pace, to give you a view of which teams are putting the effort into communicating. Remember, as a CRM system, and I think everybody who knows me is on the call, and for those who don't, will know that my epitaph when I'm no longer here will be read the screen and update data. If people are updating the CRM system with the right kind of information, these dashboards are extremely fundamentally telling us what our business is doing. If people don't use CRM properly, there's nothing I can do about that, but you can, in your organizations, show senior management access to these charts. These charts will drive CRM usage. And we can see organizations, and we're seeing organizations where dashboards for performance are becoming more critical. In providing that performance information, they're allowing the business to figure out where its weaknesses are. Okay, so I want to show you some extra options, and I'm conscious of time, so please bear with me. I'm going to create a new dashboard, and I'm going to call this Sales Overview. I'm going to go for a 4-pane approach, or 4-tile, I call them panes. Here we now have our 4 panes. What we've titled it, remember, is up to you. Here I'm going to look at sales, and I'm going to look at my forecast. Okay? This is my forecast for sales in this test system. What I got forecasted for last month, what I've got forecast for this month, what I've got forecast for next month. But alongside my forecast, I'd like to see a forecast for the business. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say copy. Sorry, my apologies. I'm just going to select the dashboard first. And I'm going to say copy. And I'm going to call this Synergy Technology, like capitals, so we'll say forecast. I'm going to get rid of the word copy. I'm going to make sure my information's up to date here and say Team Synergy Forecast. And now I'm going to show the forecast for the business, everybody. I can show the forecast in the currency, whether it be my own currency or the base currency. I can also use the selection. Key, visible for. Is this dashboard just visible to me? I've created it, it's for my use. Or am I making it available to the sales team, the service team, the technical team, or the whole business? Again, that's great security. Press OK. This now changes. Now in this particular example, again, please excuse me, this is test data and reset it regularly. The team forecast is exactly the same as mine. So maybe I'm the only person doing any work in here. But this is allowing me to see a comparison of a person, a team, against another team, or the business. I can then look under sales, and maybe I'm looking for largest upcoming sales. So this will list all the larger up and coming sales with some information about which salesperson's managing it. Here, I'm going to select another one now, top sales rep this month. Again, please remember this is test data. If you were doing this now on your live systems, literally when we finish this phone call, start to look at some of these. The data you have been storing for the last 6, 12 months will actually start to show you some fruitful data. That for me is fantastic because your system's been capturing this data since you started using it. People may not be using it correctly. That's always the challenge with CRM. But start to introduce this to senior management, start to introduce this to team members who can make a difference, and you will find this drives adoption. That for me is critical. It also allows managers and senior managers in business to get a handle on what's happening. One thing I've not shown you, which for me is great now, is if I come up to last month's sales, you'll notice I've sold £42,000 worth of goods, and I've got £647 worth of open. But I'd like to get some more detail on this, so I can double click. This now gives me a drill down into the data. I have tasks I can do with this now. I can copy this into a selection. I can click on something, double click, and switch to that sale. That's fantastic. So the key thing here is, not only am I getting the bar charts, pie charts, and area graphs, but I've actually got the facility to drill into it and analyze the data. What deal's coming up next month is a deal there for 5,100. Double click. There's actually 2 deals that make that up. I've got one at first meeting and one at lead. They're low percentages, so what they're projecting is a very low amount. That lead for 270,000 is at 1% probability, so it's only reflecting a fraction of it, which gives me the figure here of a potential of £5,100 worth of income. This for me is fantastic. Okay, everybody, so that's dashboards.